How's your week of practice been, Ed?
Good, good. You know, they've been good.
Has practice changed this week? The guys talked about maybe it was a little tougher than weeks previous.
Well, I think the one thing that I learned after the game last weekend with Indiana is that we need to have a little more roughhouse practices, a little tougher, and we needed more conditioning. So we did that this week. So for them, yeah, they may say, wow, well, it's just what I saw from my team. And situational stuff we have to go over. Can't blame them if you haven't covered a lot of stuff. But one thing I'll tell you when you're doing situations, at the end of the day, you can't predict, even with 3 seconds, 5 seconds, what's going to happen. At the end of the day, you got to have a player make a play like Anthony made. Somebody's just got to go make a play. And that's part of what we have on this team, but they just haven't been in many of those kind of deals. So,
Terrence got a lot of heat this week. Have you talked to him or talked about how he's handling it?
yeah, I think he'll be fine. You know, he had a final, so we're going to have him talk with you guys today, but he just walked in the building. So, you know, he knows. Can't do that again. You know, he's a good kid and had a bad game, and, you know, for whatever reason. But, you know, and the crazy thing is, we still had our chances to win the game. You know, and you know, we got no breaks, none. Got no breaks. He walked. He fell on the floor. How can that be a walk? Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I mean, we still could have won the game. And so, you know, it's a good sign. We had a will to win. I thought Marcus Teague's will to win, Michael's will to win, Duran. You know, there were a lot of good things that came out of that game. In one way, I'll be honest with you, if we had won, I probably would have stuck my head in the sand and not said, we're not in good enough condition, we're not tough enough, let's go. I would have said, hey man, let's just keep this ball rolling. We got 3 before Christmas. So this was a wake up for me. So hopefully I'll do a better job of helping these guys.
John, you said on your radio show that the practices going into the Indiana game hurt Terrence more than some of the other guys. Why was that?
Well, we took a couple days off, which I thought they needed to catch their breath. And when we came back, they weren't, you know, the rough house. They were more scripted. They were more, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit, let's just tone up all the areas we need to tone up. And so what I think ended up happening was that edge that he had, and I told him, you got to be the roughest guy out there. You got to be a guy that's going after balls. You got to be, you know, you didn't play great against Connecticut, but you got 15 rebounds. Missed every free throw badly, front end one-on-ones, but you still had 15 rebounds. I mean, he knows. I mean, this is a kid that understands, and he's a good kid, and he you know, screwed it up, and now he'll come back and be fine.
What can Swanee give you guys? How can he help you all moving forward?
Probably defensively. You know, he's not going to be playing any point guard, so he'll probably play one of those other positions, and he's got to go guard. Get out there and defend, and, you know, make easy plays and stuff like that so you can stay on the floor.
John, you've always preached to the guys on the bench, you've got to be ready to play. The fact that you chose to leave Terrence on the bench and look to subs, was that a message to them? I know you're just trying to win a game.
No, one message. It was like, if we leave him in, we're not winning. That was the message. And so, you know, and I told Kyle, I mean, we need to get Kyle more minutes, but he gave up a 3 at a critical time. And, you know, we're doing things in practice now that you have to come up with the ball or we lose. And if he doesn't, in those situations, I stop and say, that's why late in the game it's hard for me to play. That play right there. So, but he's another one that's really trying, and he knows. I told him, you can't, even if your minutes are short, you got to do what you do offensively, just play. And I think he's holding back a little bit, and we just got to get him going.
So are you concerned at all with Terrence? I mean, was there an effort problem or anything that has, you know?
No, I've coached him for this my going on second year. You asked me that question many times about DeMarcus Cousins. Are you concerned at all about him not growing up and immature? No, he'll be fine. I mean, he'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's taking so much heat from fans.
I haven't paid attention. Have they hit, did they hit me too?
Not like him.
You told us before.
I don't see it, I don't know it, they don't tell me. If I thought something was mean and Dwayne told me it was mean, I would publicly get out in front of him. But I didn't, he didn't say anything to me, so it must not have been as bad as you guys.
You told the fans, you know, enjoy the ride, don't get too caught up in things. This loss, what sort of sense do you have that they're following your advice and not, you know, getting too?
I don't know, I'm not that connected. Just so you know, I've hired somebody that does the Twitter, and there's someone hired that does the Facebook, and I'll give them things that I want out there, but the reality of it is, I don't ever get anything back. Somebody sent a piece of mail to my house that didn't have any return address or anything on it, so it got torn up. It never was opened. So I don't answer any mail that's not return address with a name on it. I mean, we can't get into all that. I mean, the biggest thing right now for this team is we are so young. We had guys in here yesterday watch us practice, some former players, and matter of fact, some other guys. And the biggest thing they walked away with is, wow, you have a lot of coaching to do. You have to coach the entire practice. You know guys have talent, but that's not, it's coming together as a team. It's playing smart. It's making easy plays. It's executing together. It's all those things that bringing a young team together is hard. Now, I'll tell you what it's hard to teach and coach. A will to win, a fight to win a game. And I think we have that. So that's a good sign. Now, how to finish games off and how to play down the stretch. I mean, even North Carolina, you think about it. And that could have been the same basket. Boom, goes in, we lose. How did that happen? Could have been the same exact play. Well, again, I still would have been proud of my team like I was my team at Indiana. In that environment, I mean, it was, you know, we did what we had to give ourselves a chance to win. And then the last part of it, you have a young team. You know what we should have said? I should have said in the huddle. Forget about fouling, just play your man. I mean, think of it. You got 3 freshmen. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to pick up 3/4 court. So where'd they pick up? Back at half court. And then we're going to foul when he gets near half court. Everybody, well, one guy didn't even have a man. I don't know if he thought we were zone or what we were in. Then the other guy dribbled 3 dribbles and he didn't foul. And then the guy's wide open for a 3. I mean, what happened in the timeout? And so when I look at it, when you have young players like that, why didn't you foul? Because I got 3 freshmen on the court. Coach your team, let me coach my team. That's why, you know, but it's, again, it's an experience for me. I'm learning about my team, learning every day, learning what I have to be. You know, sometimes you can be a nice guy. Other guys, you gotta be the mean guy. Sometimes you raise the bar and don't accept anything less. Other times, you're hugging and doing, you know, it's just learning about this group.
John, as much as you hate to lose, the first thing you talked about today was the fact that all the crazy things happened and you still might have won. Did you talk about that at length with your team? Got the message already?
No, it wasn't. It was the only thing that's happened in the last week is every time they don't listen in a drill or what I'm saying, I stop practice. I say, 5.6 seconds left and there's a timeout. We're going to pick up 3/4 court, and when they get near half court, we're going to foul. You hear me? They're going to take it out with 2 seconds to go. If they throw it back, we may foul again. You look to me. Pick up 3/4 court, we're fouling. So every time they don't listen, I bring that up. Just to make a point of, this is what you're not listening to me. And that's why you're walking out of a timeout with 5.6 seconds to go. Folks, they're freshmen and sophomores. 2 of the sophomores are more like seniors, or should be. But the reality of it is we've got a really young team.
Why would you think Wally won't play point guard?
Because he doesn't understand that position the way we need to play. But he's a good athlete. He's got some good size. He can defend and be tough. But I just don't know right now. I'll be honest with Jared, you know, understanding how we play and what we do is probably ahead of 20.
What about where you thought you'd be right now?
You know what? This is one of those years that I didn't go through it and say, okay, how do we, like, I'll go through and kind of say, where should we be? What's the worst? What's the best? And I didn't do that with this group. But I will tell you, to win the games that we've won, play the way that we played for this time in the year defensively, be one of the best defensive teams in the country with a lot of room for growth, not knowing exactly how we're playing offensively, even now. You know what? we're pretty good for this stage of having a new team.
Why did you decide not to go through?
I forgot. Just didn't do it. Usually,
Tomorrow's Chattanooga, but do you think your team is ready to get back on the floor, prove to you they
we'll
can
see.
listen?
We'll see. You know, there's always the dregs of a game like that. We'll see.
John,
Yeah, you said-
on the three-point shooting, when you went back and looked at guarding the three, what did you see when you looked at the video? Were you guarding it well enough, or they were just making shots?
There were 3 or 4 of the threes that weren't guarded, and they made all of those. So then all of a sudden, they only make 25% of the guarded ones, but they make those other 4. Now all of a sudden, they make 7, 8 threes because you gave them 4. A bunch of them were off an offensive rebound that we should have grabbed the ball, and they just throw it out, and the guy makes a 3. I mean, I think there were 2 of those, maybe 3. Well, if you rebound the ball, it doesn't lead to a bang, a kick out, and a 3. But we got a lot of work to do. And I mean, you just keep saying it. And if you were listening to us practice, all I talk about is make them drivers, let them drive into our defense. Do not let them play horse. I know they can beat us playing horse and shooting free throws. We're not fouling, and we're not letting them play horse. Make them play basketball. But that's hard. It's a little easier to let it, well, I was on him. You weren't on him close enough. Why didn't he drive the ball? Then you weren't tight enough. Well, I was afraid. Then you have to sit down. You make that guy drive by you. We don't want a straight line drive, but make him put it on the floor. Those kind of things are what we're talking about. But I'm going to be honest. You say it over and over and over 100 times, and the guy goes, and 3, why didn't you up? Why is there behind the guy? Okay, if that was your excuse. I mean, just we're young team.
Yeah, you said
Last
on your
question.
radio show, if I heard you right, that with President Capilouto.
You listen to my radio show? Very nice.
Definitely,
Very good.
definitely.
You watch the television show?
Not always.
I haven't.
Do you?
No.
That wasn't my question. Dr. Capilouto said that, he wants, the priority is on campus. And I thought you said on your show that if things follow through this way, this reopens the idea of a new arena down the
No,
road.
here's what I said. And my point is, we have 60-year-old dorms on our campus. 60-year-old. I didn't know buildings could stay standing that long. We have 500 beds that are new housing. We need 5,000 beds that are new housing. We need classrooms that are up to date with new desks that don't have the holes where you put the ink pen in there, those kind of desks. we need to go through. And then you say, we're the flagship campus. We're it. When we go out, we represent the entire Commonwealth. And everybody in the legislature is represented by us when we go out or when we're on this campus. 80% of our campus is from our state, 80%. So my point is, you can't do it private funding. That's a bunch. I've been on every public camp. You can't. It's the legislature's got to jump behind us and help. And then private, public, and let's go. I told the story of UConn. What they did was, they said, we're going to give you $100 million for 10 years for building. No salaries, nothing else. Just rebuild the campus. $100 million for 10 years. $1 billion. UConn's campus is not the same. That's their flagship campus. Can we do that in this state? Maybe not $100 million, but what can we do per year for the next 5 years to make sure the campus is rebuilt? Then I said, if we're all saying that's what we're about and forget everything else except that, and that's not covered, then I said, then let's address RUP. Now, whether that's new, let's do RUP then. It's 35 years old. It hasn't hurt us in recruiting. It obviously hadn't hurt us on the basketball court. Our fans like it unless you're in the upper deck. Have you ever been in the upper deck with 12 inches of room to sit? When your butt is 18 inches? Okay? All right, it's a tough seat up there. I mean, and again, I think, there's things that the priority, and I agree. If you told me it's between a new RUP arena and new classrooms and new dorms, I'm saying it's for our students. New classrooms, new dorms. Let's rebuild this campus. Let us all be proud. Let those 80% of the students go in to a dorm that's up to date and a classroom that's up to date. I agree. And now but I'm saying, you can't do it publicly or privately. You can't just say, well, we'll get someone to give us $400 million it just doesn't work that way.
But you guys can be the gold standard with RUP just as it is.
There's some things they can do. I mean, we're the gold standard, and everybody is fighting for us and what's going on. Anybody that's been in the building while we've had a game cannot hurt us. You know, it's just that the building is 35 years old. Locker rooms are going to need redone. That has to be done in the next couple years, year or so. You've got to go through all those amenities, but nothing is going to touch the fans until they really get into, all right, what are we going to do? But I agree with our president. I mean, I've had camp on our campus, and there are parts of our campus that are really up to date and nice. But when you start talking about all the things, I was on Indiana's campus and walked. They had 4 blocks of a student center. 4 blocks. I said, what is this big building that goes all the way down and just keeps going? Oh, that's their student center that's connected to a hotel. What? I mean, that's Indiana. I mean, and it's, you know, that's their flagship campus. That's it. And this is our flagship campus, University of Kentucky.
Thank you.